Hey YouTube, I've dug this out for fun. Also, it's got stereo options, which I'm not actually going to go into in this one. This is just the... can't really... Yeah, so this is an old Avon Rose Morris. Actually, that headstock looks terrible. Actually, I put a veneer on it, and the varnish reacted, so it kind of looks like that. It looks better than it did, to be honest, but that's kind of like maybe sand that and do it a little bit better. So I bought this in the Barras about 1997 or something like that. The Barras used to be much bigger and had an awful lot more in it than it does now. I remember seeing it one week. It was the same guy that I bought a WEM speaker cabinet off, and it wanted 30 quid for it. It didn't have a bridge. It did have tuners, but it had no bridge. And did I have a pickup? It did have a pickup. I wonder what happened to that pickup. So I bought it, and I basically told the guy I had my Epiphone, just bought my Epiphone EBO, and I was I just wanted to, I'm just want to smash it up on the guy. The guy's like, no, 30 quid. Then it went in a couple of weeks later, and it was still there. And I said, "You take 20?" He's like, "Up here, yeah, totally take that." Some guy wanted to try to buy it off me last week, wanted to smash it up, so I wouldn't sell it to him. So I had to carry this back. The number of people that commented, I remember carrying this, they didn't have a case, calling me geezer butler and all that, just because I was walking down the street carrying an EBO. But this, if only I'd known, if I didn't really, I didn't know what I was doing when I had this. This has had several gauges. It was only 20 quid, so it's a shite. It looked, the way I looked at it, it looked like an EBO. That was it. I didn't really realise until much later that actually this is so much closer to my 68 Gibson than the Epiphone ones are. It's like, it's, you know, here's the Gibson, here's the Epiphone, it's right next to the Gibson, you know what I mean? It's totally almost as good as a bolt-on neck, but I'm not just saying that. So I made a double neck guitar at one point out of a kitchen worktop, but this was not out of the butcher block. This is out of like the plastic coated chipboard. Yep, that's what this neck was, and I seem to remember having red inverted crosses on the fingerboard painted on with car touch-up paint from my car, because I had a red Ford Orion at the time. And then I remember when I was in the Blind Doug, what that'd be about 2002, something like that, 2003. I bought a Yamaha fretless bass off Jethro Tull's bass player. Nope, Jethro Tull's keyboard player. Even though I never met him, but I talked to him on the phone. I get paid 90 quid for it. It's like an RBX thing. I never liked the shape of it. So I put that fretless neck on this body. So yeah, I had this all gouged out and a different bridge on it. I think it had a P-bass type bridge on it because it never originally had a bridge. And then I actually did a gig with that fretless. And then I put that back together again, sold the Yamaha. And then I think by that point I actually had, when I got the Gibson one, it was like, this actually feels like that old Avon I had, so I dug it out, and then I saw this thing called an eb6. I just built the Fender Bass 6, which is a 30-inch scale, but tuned to EAD GBE, same as a guitar, but an octave down sort of thing. And it was a bit difficult, although the one I made is actually better than the Squier one or the Fender one, because I used a stag neck. It was dead wide here. It's like, yep. So the strings are a decent distance apart, rather than the Fender one, which is like, pure, will we use a P-bass neck or we use a jazz bass being 4mm? We use a jazz bass neck, so the strings are up here close together, it's difficult to play. But I saw this, and the one that I saw, they only made 50 of them or something like that, 1965, something like that. And it's basically 2 humbuckers in it. It was 30-inch scale, and it had 6 strings, and I had it read up that it was a baritone, so that's what I built it as, so it's good. In the middle string, so it's not guitar strings and not bass strings, somewhere in the middle, so it's tuned to B, B, E, A, D, F sharp, B, which means that all chords are the same shape, but that's not an A minor. That's actually, well, if you do that, so an E's there, it's actually an E minor, there you go. Yep, and then, so eventually it got cut up, and I had this scratch plate made out of wood. It looked terrible when I got that dirt bar off Buster. Made this, stuck P90s in it. Already had too many holes in it, so I had to use the holes for something. And so not 100% remember how I did this, but as far as I can tell, this here switch is bypasses the three-way switch and gives you the two of them in series, so it gives you a big humbucker. This one here is knocks the coils in and out of phase, and one of these, I can't remember which one, it also turns on the stereo, so you get, it sends one pickup to, you know, one volume tone pickup volume tone amp 1, and then pickup volume tone amp 2, which I've not actually tried doing now I've got a stereo setup. I just forgot how good this guitar was. So what I did was I plugged up the, obviously this had 4 strings on it, so plugged up these strings with drumsticks, I seem to remember, and then just put 6 tuners on it, really. I kind of put them, it's kind of mad how they don't look like they're actually getting further in. These ones might be a wee bit longer, because I don't have a set of 6. So I made them kind of come in towards the centre a little bit, like a PRS. Yeah, pretty clever. But these basses are awesome. The only thing I'm getting is after I built this was a while ago, I remember Jim was up here, I want one of them, and he sent me a picture of one he saw on eBay, and it was a Avon Rose Morris. Dog looks exactly the same. It was a bit lighter coloured, looked exactly the same, and got it. It was awful. This one says Avon Rose Morris Japan. His says Avon Rose Morris Foreign on it. But they kind of look the same, but it's like down to these aren't the original tuners, but the original tuners were like, you know, sort of enclosed ones with 4 screws holding on the cover and then a metal box, and it's like the ones on this and the other one looked the same as that, and I was trying to take the screws out. 2 of the screws were fake. They were just moulded into the cover. So it was only 2 screws holding it on instead of 4, like that, right? And then the actual bit, the buttons and stuff were plastic with silver coating on them. Yeah. The neck was plywood going that way. The fingerboard was plywood going that way, and the body was plywood, and it's like everything on it was like, it's the ultimate. We want you to make something that looks the same as this as cheap as possible. It was nothing like this bass. I wish I'd just used this bass as, well, I wouldn't have a, it is awful cool looking. It's a wee bit black and a bit dark. Maybe a J-Pax in this in order, but so, as far as I can remember, bridge pickup. Both pickups. See, it does have a, you've been a wee bit careful of the D string, but the chords are huge. I do actually have that delay. That would be just trying out the idea of putting a delay. It's not set up to be particular. I think what I want ones with a wet and a dry thing, just to wait up to run the 2 amps. But I'm still fighting over what the point in having 2 guitar amps is. I'm thinking with this, see if I play it through a bass amp, turn the tone down. It's kind of like a bass in it, so I'm thinking if I was doing a loop thing, I could probably, rather than using the double neck, I could probably manage the bass and the guitar on this. I think I'll start with rhythm guitar, don't I? No idea what to play. Alright, so series. Phase. Time for some, what this is for, open cards. Yes, it is actually, is P90 in the neck. So I run the rat. You got that one, which is kind of before I had the AB pedal set up. It was like I could run. I was thinking I can run a distorted amp and a clean amp. So I'm giving, you know, one of them is getting the signal from the bridge is distorted but not very loud, and then the neck. Mix two together, but actually just using the AB switch kind of makes this a bit redundant, to be honest. When you get that, you get the distortion and so you get the bass notes. Perfect. Yeah, you can kind of get lost with this thing. It's a bit noisy since it's P90s, but so it's another one of those things. A little bit like the Fender 6, like the 8-string bass whole concept. So I'm waiting for my pal to come up, so this video might abruptly end. It's just not as good as a bass, and it's not as good as a guitar. Like the actual concept of it. So you need to have a very specific place in a band for it. It'd probably work really well. See if you had like I don't know, like the Doors maybe, you know, when you had like drums, keyboards, singer, or a sort of White Stripes thing when it's just this on its own with a drummer. The same with it's kind of a strange one because you're going to be, I mean, nothing can compete with these chords. I mean, it's worth it just for if you're recording and you just, I don't even know if you can get a cheapy version of a baritone guitar, but just like as I said, the pistols are not those chords. What you do find is that all the songs that you do know, it's like you know, like your G, C, and D, G, D, and E thing. You'll recognise that even though it's not the same chords for the ones that you're normally playing, like I would normally play, well, if the song starts in a G, it gets confusing, alternate tunings. And these strings are, when did I build this? 15 years ago? Something like that. This was before in the era before I knew you could get cheap, decent guitars. if you just looked about and didn't buy the common ones, you could suddenly get guitars that were, hold on, this guitar is as good as a Mexican Fender, better than an Epiphone, and it's 50 quid. What? Is it because it's pink and a bit pointy? Yeah, that kind of thing. It was a Hondo Telecaster, bought for 30 quid in cash converters actually, and I got it home, and at the time I had the Schecter telly, and it was just, this is freaking a really, really good guitar. And it was like 30 quid. That was a Hondo too, like a Japanese Hondo there. So that was basically what we were getting now, is a sort of £700, £1,000 guitar, like the Korean thing. No, I do like this. The thing is, it's got a little bit of the... when I bought the SG, I didn't really, never really seen one before. I had a shot at one once, I think. In fact, Ewan had one. I bumped into it on more, Ewan. Aye, but it looked awfully wee on me, because obviously I was used to the only pictures I'd seen really of SGs, apart from on the inside of Volume 4 where there was Angus standing with it, and I just didn't realise that this kind of looks more like an SG on Angus Young, because it's just that little bit bigger. But I mean, I just think the EBO is a fantastic looking guitar. It's I think the SG is my favourite of the classic designs. The painted, the dirt bar scratch plate is a bit shit, but it was that or nothing. So it's all crazy, right? Because it had a P-bass pickup in it, and I'm sure it did crazy. It's mad stereo shit in it. Many pickups. That's why there's so many switches and knobs, and kind of not really any use now. I will do the split thing and run it into the two, but it's just that thing about, because I've already got that AB box, which I don't know how it works. You can't just stick two things in at the same time, but it seems to be able to run two amps at the same time if you choose A and B at the same time, and you just get the signal just goes unaffected to one of them. Yeah, it just splits the signal in half, as long as you put it before the distortion pedal. But I suppose this would give you control over the two, like the idea of having, if I was using, say the Sabbath band, would be a nice thing to have. I'm kind of thinking doing that with the P. I've done that with some PJ pickups, PJ lineups where you've got a secondary output. It's the ability to have clean coming through the bass amp, which is just great, and it's like pure, yep, there we go, just for the bass songs. But if you're playing a wee bit, you can just put in a wee bit of a bridge pickup and a bit of fuzz on it, kind of bring it in very gently, and you can find like a real sweet spot, but not sitting fidgeting with the amps. You know, all you're doing is messing about with the two volume controls, and you can get, you know, the fuzz on a bass is a strange thing. You can have too much very easily and too little, and there's just a wee magic amount where it's just enough. I don't really have. That's the rap pedal, but it sounds pure. It's quite microphonic. Yeah, I think these are just before 10 were just eBay pickups. It's kind of like when you've got drop D tuning, you just end up wanting to play riffs that go. But it's when it comes into, yes, you can get baritone guitars. Yes, you can get a 7-string guitar. This isn't the same as a 7-string guitar, even though on a 7-string guitar, that is the B is there. It's basically all the strings are the same, apart from it's got an extra thin one kind of thing. But there's something about this scale length being 30-inch, not being like something normally baritones are like 27 or something. Being that bit longer, it's pushing that line of this is a guitar, this is a bass. This is definitely more bass than any of your 7 strings or a normal when you actually buy a baritone guitar. Even a, you know, I think they do. I'm pretty sure there's an Ibanez RG that's a baritone. Saying that, have I played one? I did have a Jackson. It was 28-inch scale, and it was nothing like this. But it had 8 strings. Maybe it's the fact it's got 6 strings. Maybe I'm blethering. It's getting more trebly the more I play it, because these strings have never been played properly. But again, it's not one of those things just because I've started doing that twiddly stuff on the guitar, I'm suddenly I can do it in one of these, so I can play it all over the place. Not sounding good at all, why not? I think that might be a stereo switch, actually. Like what it does is it roots, when that's down, it's a... Yeah, so when that's down, it's a three-way switch coming out of that jack socket. When that's up, it roots the neck, it bypasses this, the three-way switch. You can't even see it because it's too dark. And then comes out the other it would be nice to actually be able to, if I was using the stereo outputs on it, be able to turn the tone down on the bass so I can kind of tailor the two sounds and turn the fuzz down, which I can't do just now, they're both locked. Because the really loud, clean, trebly sound doesn't really work through the bass amplifier. I want it to be more... It's quite difficult to actually play a song when if you have to transpose it. Just jamming's easy because I'm just playing in D, even though I know it's not D. It's actually, well, it's in B. So, well, that's E. That's E. So, even though I'm playing an A, that's actually an E chord. Oh, I made that sound much more complicated than it is. Oh, come on!